Hey everybody, Phil here. I am heading out to the farm just for a quick hour and a half or so here on a Saturday afternoon. Did a bunch of work at home today. It was supposed to be rainy today. There was a little tiny bit of drizzle, but nothing really got too wet. So I'm going to take this opportunity with it being not wet to go out to the farm and do a little bit of work. Today's video, while I'm driving to the farm, I wanted to share a couple updates with you. One is I scored a sweet trailer off Craigslist, $350. I used it a bunch today to haul leaves from our yard to the drop-off point in our neighborhood. They do these community cleanup days a couple times a year in our neighborhood, and they have a place where we can go and drop off yard waste, and then I guess they get some company to come in and mulch it or turn it into topsoil or something. I don't know what they do, but anyway, it's a good opportunity for us. There's just a lot of mature trees. You might be able to see in the background behind me as I'm driving out of here. Our neighborhood is just loaded with mature hardwoods, and we have just so many leaves. I couldn't even tell you how many hundreds or maybe thousands of pounds of leaves I've hauled out of my yard this year. It's just insane. So that's what I've been doing all day, and the trailer is going to be a huge help for that kind of thing, because prior to that we used to have to bag everything up and make multiple trips in my tiny little truck. I've got a Nissan Frontier crew cab, and it's only got a 5-foot bed, so hauling capacity with my truck is really limited. But so a couple other updates I wanted to share with you, and then just talk about something that has kind of transpired here in the past week or so. And Stacy and I are considering opening the tree farm next year, which had never been part of our plan. As we evaluated and kind of came up with a business plan for the tree farm, and went through with the purchase of property, we had never considered opening up in our first year. But I think we'll be able to sell quite a few pre-cut trees if we can get a hold of a wholesaler, a supplier, who can give us a relatively small number of trees, because I'm not trying to sell thousands of trees. So I don't really know what our ability is to, or what kind of volume we'll be able to do. But here's how it kind of all came down. So we bought this property now just 3 weeks ago, maybe 3.5 weeks ago. And we've obviously told lots of people about this purchase and what we plan to do with the property. And everyone we know, friends, family, acquaintances, has been really supportive and really encouraging of the whole thing. So buying a property, starting a tree farm, everyone just loves the idea. I think in part because they think it's like our own little Hallmark movie, which my wife would agree with, and she likes that idea as well. But not only has everyone been really supportive and really encouraging, but there have just been so many instances of, particularly Facebook posts. There's a bunch of different community Facebook groups in our area, because there's a number of large neighborhoods around here, and every neighborhood has its own Facebook group, and then there's a couple Facebook groups that kind of combine for the region or combine a couple neighborhoods. So there's this one group that my wife and I belong to. I think it's got like 2,600 members, and it's mostly moms. And I posted on there a little poll asking if people in the area would drive to a farm and buy a pre-cut tree assuming that the farm also has some kind of experience to go along with it, like a hayride, hot chocolate, maybe we can get a Santa. But anyway, you get that farm experience, but you don't necessarily get, or you wouldn't necessarily get, the go out in the field and find your tree and cut it down thing, because it's going to take us 7 or 8 years to grow trees, and it's going to be a while before we can do that. But in the meantime, if people are interested in coming out to the farm for the farm experience and buying a pre-cut tree, you know, I'll figure out a way to accommodate that. I don't think it'll be that hard, actually. There's not too much work for us to do to be able to support that. So I put this poll out there on Facebook, and the responses were overwhelmingly supportive, and pretty much everyone said, yeah, I would totally do that. And what just boggles my mind about this, not that I'm, you know, disagreeing with any of those people, but the pre-cut trees we could get are virtually the same pre-cut trees that you could get at any tree lot, and there are several of them around here. And the trees that I would sell would be no better. They wouldn't be priced any better. And if people are willing to drive 30-35 minutes to go out for the farm experience to get the same tree they can get right around the corner, then yeah, I'll do it. So that means we could open as soon as next year. And I think there's just a lot of little things that we could do to kind of prepare our property and make sure the experience is really good for people coming out to the farm. But that is kind of a whole different set of considerations than what we had initially planned on when we bought this property. There's a little bit of a feeling of being overwhelmed right now, but a whole lot of excitement for Stacy and I, thinking about opening next year, creating this memorable experience for local families, and having people out at our farm, which I know it's a beautiful piece of property. I know people will really like being out there. It'll be great for family photos, and having people out there as soon as next year and not 7 years from now is so exciting. So we'll keep you posted on what else transpires, but right now that's our plan. You know, I couldn't guarantee you whether we're going to deviate from that plan, but opening for Christmas 2019 right now is on our radar. The only other update I wanted to give you guys is we did order our first batch of Christmas trees. And if you're watching this and you're already friends with me on Facebook, or you follow me on Instagram, you've already seen this update, because I posted a little image of our invoice that showed the varieties of trees that we're getting. To start, we're ordering 5 varieties of trees, and they're kind of a mixture of Christmas tree types. You know, some trees have long needles, some have short needles, some are bright green, some are more yellowish green. Anyway, we're getting a variety, partially because we don't have any Christmas tree farming experience. We don't know what's going to do well on this property, so there's a little bit of experimentation for us to figure out what's going to do really well. But there is also just kind of, it's known that different types of people like different kinds of trees, and some people are allergic to certain varieties of trees. So we want to have a variety anyway, and ultimately we'll probably settle in on 3 or 4 varieties that will grow long term. But right now we're starting with, I believe, 5. That's what we're doing. Those 5 varieties that we're going to grow are Scotch pine, which are pretty common in Virginia. I think they pretty much grow anywhere, but they're not, I don't think they're as favorable as a Christmas tree to a lot of people. But I've had that kind of tree before. It's okay. Again, it comes down to personal preference, but Scotch pine are, again, we know that'll do well, and so we're going to get actually 2 different varieties of Scotch pine. They should look largely the same, but just genetically they're slightly different. Then we're getting 2 different varieties of fir. We're going to get a concolor fir and the Canaan fir. Canaan firs come out of West Virginia, and they're known to grow here reasonably well in Central Virginia. They are pretty close, both the Canaan fir and concolor fir, in terms of texture and color and needle retention, are both pretty close to either a Fraser fir or a balsam fir that a lot of people know. Unfortunately, the Fraser firs and balsams just don't grow here. So a lot of the corner tree lots in this area are selling Fraser firs, but those Fraser firs are shipped in from the mountains of North Carolina because, again, they just don't grow here. The last variety that we're getting is a spruce, a Norway spruce. And Norway spruces are pretty popular Christmas trees, though not as popular as the firs. But they do really well. They have a good shape. In fact, I think most often the tree that makes up the Rockefeller Center tree is a giant Norway spruce. So if you like the look of the Rockefeller Plaza Christmas tree, then you'll probably like the Norway spruce. So those are the varieties. Again, to recap, it's Scotch pine. I don't think I mentioned Virginia pine. We're either going to get Virginia pine or white pine. I'm not sure which yet. As far as the varieties, again, white pine, Scotch pine, Norway spruce, concolor fir, Canaan fir. We will have a variety. The firs and spruce will all have, stiff branches like a Fraser fir or a balsam fir. They'll have short needles. They have good needle retention. They have good color. They have really good scent as well. So all in all, those varieties, assuming that we can grow them and they do well, will make great Christmas trees. And then as an alternative, some people like the pines and they like the longer needles. So we'll have a couple different varieties of pine. And we know those will do well here. So that's what's coming 7 years from now, maybe 6. If we can get them to grow quickly, you can come out to Woods Tree Farm and cut your own. So for now, that's it. I'm going to show you a little bit of what I'm doing out at the farm today. Again, I'm just working for an hour or so. I plan on cutting some grass. If you have suggestions or questions for what you'd like to know about the farm or know about the family, or if you have some ideas for what else we could or should be doing out there, I'm all ears and completely open to your suggestions and feedback. And so go ahead and put that in the comments if you've got anything, and I welcome all of that. And maybe one of your ideas will become our next video. Who knows? But now we'll go on maybe a little time lapse here, show you some of the work. There's still a whole bunch of grass to cut, and hope you enjoyed watching. Talk to you later. See ya. right, well that's not bad. 20 minutes, knocked out the top half of this field. I'm gonna move the camera, go do another section. I only got about another 20-25 minutes of daylight, and then I gotta head home anyway. So that's all I really had planned for today. I'll keep the camera running while I jump up on the tractor. We'll go on the other side of the cedars behind me. And over there, the grass is really thick. It's a completely different kind of grass over there. And as we get down towards the pond that way on the other side, it might get soft. So if you see me kind of zigzagging around, that's why. All right, so I'm gonna pick up the camera here, hop up on the tractor with me, we'll go for a ride. All right, over here on this side of the property, this is on the far side of the cedars and the fence that you may have seen us work on in another video. And right over in that side of the screen there, you can see a gap in the trees. There's power lines on the south side of our property. That's what marks the property line. So on this half of the field, we haven't done as much over here. Probably not going to plant trees over here for a while, so we're just going to kind of keep this cut back, and that's pretty much it. Let's get on the tractor. Here we go. Well, I'll finish mowing. It's almost dark and it just started to rain, sprinkling a little bit. My other camera, the memory card, filled up just as I was walking back to it. So I got to switch to this one, and I know it's not as good in low light. But just to wrap up for today, thanks for watching. This was just a quick afternoon visit to the farm. Just got a little bit of mowing done. I still got a lot more to do. But I knocked out a good chunk, probably about 2 acres worth. I probably got another 4 or so to do. So maybe do a little bit of that tomorrow. It's supposed to be nice. Last thing I'm going to do as I wrap up here is just top off the diesel fuel in the tractor. So I'm going to do that now. Rain's coming down, so I want to get this done pretty quick. So I'm just going to set the camera down here. There we go. I'm on a little bit of a slope here today. Usually park where it's flatter. All right, well that needed more than I thought. Almost a whole 5 gallons. Like topping it off. I don't really know much about tractors, but I read that there'll be less water buildup in the fuel tank if we keep it topped up. So Every time I use it, I try to fill it up. Though, last time I was here, I did not. So I guess that's why it took the whole 5 gallons. So I'll take this can back home and fill it up again for next time. For now, that's it. Signing off. Thanks for watching. And if you like these videos, remember to give it a thumbs up, like it, share it with your friends, and subscribe. I appreciate it. Plan on putting on a whole lot more videos out here showing you the work that we're doing at the farm. And I don't know how well this is going to show up because it's so low light, but here's your pretty view. Getting a little breezy out here now too. But that's it from Woods Tree Farm. I'm Phil. See you later.